What is up guys, Wraec is here with a new video, and today I want to make a little guide on Starland Arena. It is just live and I thought, well, didn't do a guide on that for a year, and last time I focused a lot on those amulets, and now, well, we can keep it a little bit shorter. If you guys care about Starland Arena, there is definitely some things you want to go for in there. The main thing, of course, being the avatars. They are very, very cool. Place 1 avatar, place 2 avatar. I love them. Honestly, I'm still kind of annoyed that I never got to the place 1, place 2, or place 3 avatar, because I'm just very slow. Yeah, there's a bit of a problem. And we'll see in a second why. Basically, we can put it together in 3 steps. What you need to know about Starland Arena, the critical points and the phases you will go through in there. What you will need, though, that is the first thing I want to discuss. The first thing is what you will need. You will need some power. We will have to be able to beat a few people in there. It is a bit of PvP. You don't generally have to beat like 9 billion strength people. You can take the weaker people, the people with lower power, and that will be absolutely fine. You can check out the teams before. You can set up your teams in a way that you counter such teams, because often there's like this place 5 team, which is, for example, a lot weaker than the teams before, or you have to be careful of a DTV. So you can adjust your heroes so that you kind of counter the teams, because you see them in advance here. So you need a little bit less power than you might expect. Also, for the biggest part of it, we won't even do PvP. First of all, what do you need to achieve to get to place 1? Well, let's check out the last season for that. Place 1 has 13,005 points. That is always the case now. That is the cap. That is the maximum amount of points, which means you will have to do a perfect run. You can't lose out on any points. That means you can't really cap on stamina. You can't lose any fights. You know, Starland Arena, any battle consists of 5 fights. You completely lose it when you lose 3 of those fights, but you already lose points when you lose a single one, and you can't allow yourself even that. So you have to win every single fight and have to make very sure of that. The other problem is a lot of people now get 13,005 points. If we scroll down, we'll see that there were 12 people last time that got perfect points. Jesus barely got place 10 with perfect points. And we'll now go into how this is decided, who is place 1, because place 1 is the person that gets 13,005 points the fastest. So it is our goal to get 13,005 points the fastest, to get place 1 or one of the top positions. So how do we do that? Well, we can put that together in 3 phases. Phase number 1 is actually the register phase and the first fight. This is like one phase that we will put together. Register phase basically starts with the invitation. You will see an invitation up here, and what this will allow you, it will tell you that there is Starland Arena coming up, a big game mode with PvP and stuff. But the most important thing for us is there is a button to set up your defensive lineup for the fights. And this is what you definitely want to do, because otherwise, once Starland Arena starts, it will actually ask you to set a defensive lineup, and that takes away time. So first of all, set your team in advance when you see the invitation. And then the next important step is you have to be available when Starland Arena starts. Just like here, there's also a countdown on the invitation showing you when Starland Arena is going to start. And you have to be on your phone, on your emulator, whatever, when this countdown ends. And then you have to be very swift, because what you will have to do is you will have to click on go, you will have to click on one person, you will have to click on battle, you will have to quickly set up your team, maybe just throw in a few heroes, I don't know, just quickly do it. Has to be very fast. You can also just set 1 hero per lineup if you are very sure of yourself, but you still have to win every single fight. But often on the first selection of enemies that you get shown, the enemies are a bit weaker than usual, so you will be able to beat them fairly easily if you have a bit of power. That being said, that is also one of the first deciding points, because you start out with 10 stamina. You won't be able to regenerate any stamina when you have 10 stamina, so you have to get rid of 1 stamina very fast to start regenerating stamina to get your last stamina earlier. The stamina here is called Tier of Stars. I will speak about stamina in that sense. This is the resource you use to attack people, and you regenerate it every few hours, and it basically only starts regenerating when you do your first attack. That is also very important for you. So the first attack already can decide much of the order that you will have later, because it is much more difficult to get the first attack very quickly than it is to get the last attack, or to do the last attack quickly. Because for the first attack you will have to set up your lineup and everything. So it is very much so possible to lose the first position within the first 20 seconds of Starland Arena. Very much possible, happens a lot. Last time I think it was number 7 that got the win. And I was also in that season. I lost some points later, so I didn't do very well, to be honest. I kind of gave up after I saw how much faster No 7 was than I was. It was like 30 seconds faster. I thought, like, man, am I getting old? But no, the game lags a bit when I try to set heroes. So it's a bit horrible, yeah. I complained about that already. I don't know, the age doesn't really change that game mode. I don't think they care too much about it. But yeah, so then the next phase starts, and the next phase is the battle phase. It is more of a grind, really, because still you are not allowed to lose any fights of the 5 fights of any battle, because that will, even losing one fight will lose you 1 point and 5 points, and that is horrible. How I approach it is basically I use my stamina. The stamina, I use that every day and try to keep it below 10. Just attack people that I think I can easily beat, that I have a good power difference to, try to avoid people that have like very strong teams, people like that. I don't really want to fight, because SSS Aspen can be very dangerous. I rather attack this guy. He seems to have a team that I can beat very well, so I rather go for that. And you can do that as well. What I recommend to make this a bit easier and making finding the weaker enemies a bit easier is to not buy those extra attacks. You get 10 extra attacks every day, but you don't have to buy them every day. It will just increase the cap. So if I have 30 extra attacks today, tomorrow that will increase to 40. So I can later on decide that I want to have my 40 attacks. Still be careful there with not capping your attacks, then you should buy them. I buy 5 at a time, usually, something like that. But I don't buy any attacks until I reach 2,500 points. I just use my regular stamina, take my time, slowly grind towards the 2,500 points. And when I have my 2,500 points, I group up. I get a few people from Omega Project, my guild. I get a few friends, something like that. And you should do so too. Maybe asking a guild if some people want to make a group. Because once you reach 2,500 points, you can change your defensive lineup. It's called escorts here, to tell you that you have to get to 2,500 points, and every few hours it will allow you to change your defensive lineup. And what you can of course do is you can set one weak hero in every single lineup, and that will make it very easy for other people to beat you. And now, as your friends are on the same points that you are, if you did everything right and your friends followed this guide as well, you will pretty easily find each other, because the way the matchmaking works is it doesn't find you anybody that you can beat or something like that. It will just check, okay, what are the people around this guy? So let's look at Bill here, for example. Oh, there's Sage King, there's Leaky Mickle, there's Kenshin and Neji, and likely he would get some of them. Maybe you will see Roman or Bavas once, but probably the people that are very close to him. And that works the same around those points, given there are more people at the level that we are right now than later on at the top. So that means it will be a bit more difficult to find specific people around here, and you will sometimes find people that you didn't want to find, but it is very much so possible. So if you find your friends and you all are around 2,500 points, you will probably find each other. And then you group up, make a group chat on Discord or something like that, and you do coordinated attacks. What I mean by that is everybody searches, and then you check how many people you found. You just write in the group chat something like found 3, found 4, found 5, depending on the amount of people from the group that you found. And then you check, okay, what's the lowest number that popped up? Maybe somebody only found 3 people, and the others found 4 or something like that. Then you only attack 3 times. So basically, I suggest you select somebody as the coordinator for that. He writes that you should refresh, or that how many people are that you should attack. And this guy coordinates it and coordinates your attacks, tells you to refresh, tells you to when to attack. So you can attack at the same time, refresh at the same time. And you should also write in the chat when you have done your attack. So attack 3, you could write something like that. Found 3, the group commander, let's call him, will decide how many people are attacked. Then you will just confirm that you attacked 3, and then the group commander will tell you to search again. And then so you can keep the entire group at around the same amount of points, so that you have an easy time finding each other. And then at the time when you have those 2,500 points, you can buy all of those attacks. Not at once, but through a lengthy process, maybe 5 at a time, as I said, so that you don't reach the 10 stamina, as you really don't want to do that. And you just do all of the attacks in one go then. So with that strategy, you will probably reach the top of the leaderboard. And there you can see the distance between people is pretty big. So if you have your group and you're all very close together, it is likely that you will find each other way easier up there. And this might even mean that you no longer require any coordination till the end of the season. You can, of course, just decide to just meet in the evening or something when everybody is back from work and then do all of the attacks, but it is not a necessity. It's just something that you can do. And with that, you do the biggest part of the season. You do that till the very last minute, or the last minutes. Well, not the last minutes, last hours, we should say. And at that point, it will become apparent when you will get your last stamina. What is the last stamina? Well, you can see kind of from your hours that maybe 1.5 hours before the end of Starland Arena, you will gain your last stamina for the Starland Arena. And afterwards, the time remaining in the game mode will no longer be enough to give you a second stamina. So this last stamina is again the most important one in the game mode, because like the first attack, you also have to do your last attack very fast. And the way you do this is you just use up all of your stamina till you see zeros, then you see the countdown. It says 2 hours 12 there. If that would be my last stamina, I would set me an alarm so that I'm back here at least 3 minutes before this ends. If you did that, then you will see that the countdown goes down. Maybe I'll wait for it to be at 30 seconds. I already found an opponent before. That is very important that you do not wait and search for an opponent just before the countdown ends. Find yourself a good opponent that you can attack. I will click on him. I will click here and the game will tell me there is no stamina. So I will just spam this button for the last 30 seconds or so. This will allow me to do my attack super fast because the battle button and the next battle button are actually on the same point. So I can just spam click. And once I did my attack and used up my last stamina, I can look at the leaderboard to see my position. And I should see 13,005 points here and I can see where I am in the lineup. By the way, quite funny, Jesus here was the only person in Season 2 to reach 13,005 points with this strategy. You would probably have been at the top and even beaten out Artorias, which is quite insane. And in Season 1, there was actually nobody that did this. So, yeah. Let me know in the comments if you've ever done this strategy. I use it basically not from the beginning, but I think Season 3 or something. Around there, I started using it. And it has worked well. It saves you a lot of time in this game mode and is in general quite a good way. I don't even remember when I got place 10. Not quite sure. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you had a great day and we'll see us in the next one.